We're continuing the push to bring more awareness to the growing opioid epidemic. Just yesterday, we told you the Missouri State Highway Patrol recovered the largest amount of fentanyl in the state's history this month. In this special report, I'll take you inside the DEA's operation and how they're working to try and stop this epidemic that's already claimed hundreds of thousands of American lives. Last year at this time, I introduced you to a woman who said she was hooked on heroin.
I was not breathing. I had no heartbeat. I basically died.
She died about a month ago after she overdosed.
Certainly the opioid epidemic has gotten worse. It has our attention. It's had our attention for some time.
Prescription drug abuse is by far our second most prevalent drug problem in the United States, far outpacing heroin addiction.
Those are the words from two DEA agents in Missouri. Assistant Special Agent Troy Derby says they've had to adjust their way of thinking about the opioid epidemic issue as an agency.
We realize that we can't arrest our way out of this problem.
Derby tells me they've adopted a three-pronged system to try and get a grip on the issue. For one, the community has to get on board and everyone needs to realize this is a health issue. Two, drug take-back events like the one just held 2 weeks ago are proven to get unused and unwanted pills out of people's home, leaving less of a risk of the opioids getting into the wrong hands. And three, encouraging those who need help to get it without having the fear of being judged. There's a quota system in the U.S., and DEA is required each year to set what they refer to as production quota.
One of the things that DEA is required to do by statute is to ensure that the United States has an adequate supply of these drugs to meet our medical, scientific, and research needs.
However, since 2012, they've been reducing the ceiling tremendously.
And so every year since then, for the major narcotics, we've been reducing it anywhere in an overall sense about 20% a year. So that for 2018, we've proposed quota that for certain drugs pushes back the volume to what we were seeing in 2008 or 2007.
The DEA sets production on all sorts of narcotics. They talk to several agencies to collaborate how much of each drug should be made to serve the public. I pulled the data from the DEA's website, and it shows the wild swing on the changing perceptions of pain management in the medical community. Take fentanyl, for instance. It's one of the most powerful painkillers out there and used for terminally ill patients. This chart shows it spiked 50% from 2012 to 2013 and then topped out at 2,300 kilograms last year before being slashed by 25% from this year. In 2017, 1,750 kilograms were made. The same goes for oxy and hydrocodone. Both were cut by more than 40% this year from highs just 4 years ago. Regardless of the fact the DEA is steadily dropping the amount of pills being legally manufactured, there's still the issue of getting the illegal opioids from Mexico and China by gangs and drug dealers.
They're selling death, and they don't care because they know 5 minutes down the road, another drug trafficker may rip them off and kill them. They really have no conscience. They just don't care.
There's two sections of the DEA, the more obvious being the enforcement side, but there's also something called the Diversion Division.
The Diversion Control Division within DEA, if you want to think of it simply, we're sort of the white-collar drug squad.
This division focuses on preventing and interdicting legitimately manufactured controlled pharmaceuticals, such as oxy or hydrocodone, from getting to the black market. It also had a keen eye on the abuse of pharma pills since the year 2000. This is anything from a doctor, pharmacist, or a drug company selling these pills illegally.
They simply have a room and they sell prescriptions for no valid medical purpose, but they're charging $300 to $500 a pop. Just for the visit. The first case I ever had involved a psychiatrist who simply set up a room where he would bring people in 6, 7, 8 at a time, and he would simply go down the row and say, "What's your name and what do you want?"
These are the type of people the Diversion Control Division target. It's a preventative measure to try and stop the pills from ever getting to the street. Derby refers to fentanyl as the deadliest drug to come to the U.S. It's now being synthetically made, similar to how K2 marijuana is made and then brought into the United States illegally. Another issue is the fentanyl made illegally is 100 proof and can be deadly after just one dose.
Do you think there's any way it can be stopped? Or do you think it's just going to run rampant?
If I didn't think we could make significant progress to reduce this problem, then I wouldn't be here.